to do the spoonful of sugary thing or whatever you have to do to get to that mass market. And that's, but again, what fault? Where is the fault in that? It's not the medium's fault per se. Obviously, it's, in my opinion, the consumer's fault. I mean, the consumers is what driving this. The majority of the human race is what creates the human race. I mean, the character of our world is dictated because they keep buying bullshit.
And I wonder, to what end? What is all of this about? When I study and I read things, I end up engaging in classroom. I talk with students about it, we read that, and they go on to various professional fields. And I think there's a real value and a merit to the classroom where we study readings and then we talk about them, and there is a kind of...
Yeah, well, whatever. What part of that couldn't be done here? I mean, that's the silly part of it. I mean, every bit of it could be done in this medium. And part of the reason why it's not done in this medium, I think, is because it would challenge the authority. It would challenge the ivory towers. And it would find that much of what has been defined as the authority doesn't have any authority. It doesn't have any merit. It all can be shown to be full of bullshit.
Vision and analysis, where I think YouTube, it allows for unaccountable, sort of passive...
Unaccountable is a funny word here, just because this is where you are accountable in a sense. You can't just come on here and say something stupid and get away with it. Somebody will see you say something stupid and they'll fucking call you on it. So there's more accountability here in a sense. You can't just talk shit to a bunch of inferiors, social inferiors, and pull the wool over their eyes in terms of their ego displacement and make them think that you know better, or you know something. Because here you're going to be shown. If you're an emperor and you got no clothes, you're going to be shown for who you are here, where you're not going to be accountable in those protected environments.
Action of ideas when you're in the mood for them. If you just want to disagree, you can. You don't ever have to perform. There's never a pop quiz. Santex, Sunday Super 8,
but pop quiz given by who? I think the quizzes are always thrown at people. I throw them at you, and you often fail the test. You don't come back with any answers.
He says, what nourishes our bellies is what we get from the wheat, but what nourishes our souls is what we give to the wheat. There's something about the lack of giving, the lack of demand for living up to what one's learned. Like, it's almost as if the flood of information, it's become a huge cocktail party where overstuffed people continue to walk around and fill an already choking throat. What are they doing with the information?
Yeah, so one minute you're complaining there's not enough devotion to this consumption of information. Now you're saying there's too much information. So what is it? Which one is the truth? I think the point is that it all has to be filtered, and this is a filter. This is a place where stuff has to be tested. It kind of has to earn its place here. Okay, it's not a free. I mean, the earning is silly as it is now because the audience is silly. But depending on if they segregated audiences and you were trying to do something serious. And things had to have merit, and there was I'm just saying this mechanism would be very valuable in terms of gleaning, forcing cream to get to the top and not fat.
What's the point of all of this? Can they paint? Can they sculpt? How talented are they?
Who cares? Again, you're going to bring up this elitist crap, like all that crap means something, and like that crap hasn't, like I said, haven't we been there and done that for thousands of years now? It's not one man's world anymore. It's not this whatever that Renaissance man. That's a dead idea. It's not practical in a world where, as I stated, everything that you're going to build, every new invention, is going to require a team of people to perfect, not just one. They're all going to have to be specialists.
Same. Do they play musical instruments? How many? How well? Do they have talents? These questions of what does it mean to be a knowledgeable, cultivated person, and I think the real issue here is that...
Well, cultivated knowledge, these are two different things, and practical applicable skills are another thing. So again, if you're going to talk about being useful, you're going to need those practical skills, and you're going to have to be that team player kind of thing and do that kind of game, which is going to be very unrewarding to your ego. And this cultivating thing where you walk around and you pretend you're a Renaissance man because you read a few fucking books, but you don't have to produce anything, that's just kind of bullshit now. Like I said, you're just not going to, you can't earn the same kind of status just because you are as I am, somebody who knows a lot of stuff but isn't a master at anything. So, you really do have to master at something specific, and that something specific has to have some kind of specific value. It can't just be I'm a professional understander of what kind of slippers people wore 700 years ago.
It's about conversation. Now, maybe YouTube is wonderful for conversation. Let's hit at that for a second. That the advertisers don't want anybody to know what the truth is. The truth is that good conversation is life's greatest riches. I said, life's greatest riches is everyday conversation. But how great is your conversation? Unfortunately, too many people think it's about stuff. Yeah, they think it's about having stuff, being seen with stuff, and...
Again, you don't, this is just such ambiguous, use specific examples. I mean, are you talking about society as a whole now? Are you talking about YouTube? Are you talking about this part of YouTube, the 20 or 30 people here that are communicating with each other? Where is this critique pointed?
There's something certainly about, basic provisions and medical care and having necessities met, but people pay great amounts of money to access those people who are witty and are able to say things. Why aren't they practicing becoming that person? Why aren't they studying and growing knowledgeable? Why aren't...
Yeah, to be what person? To be an entertainer? I mean, come on. It's like practicing to be a basketball player. I mean, why not waste... Yeah, let's have 1 million people waste their energy so one of them can be the superstar. And that's something to encourage in people. I think, practically speaking, you got to do exactly the opposite. The opposite is to be somebody who's got some sort of practical use to the world that can do their part in creating that thing that's created through a group effort of different people throwing their talents into that pool to make something, to do something. But yeah, I mean, chasing this idea that we should all sit around and practice being George Carlin or something. I don't think so.
Doing things that are time more well spent. Think of the amount of information that's available right now on YouTube and what most people are looking at on YouTube. You can see why we are not the world's leader in science or in math. We are not. We have people who have all of the world's resources. Some people could be taking the world by storm, and instead, they're farting around. They're watching gags. The conversations they're in, they're not carefully laid out and argued. It's spontaneous chit-chat, which is fun if you want to hang around.
But again, I mean, I guess, again, it'd be nice if you pointed fingers, this spontaneous chit-chat thing. I really don't see that anywhere, to tell you the truth. But whatever. I see directed conversations about different subjects, but yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's bullshit everywhere. The whole fucking world is run on bullshit. I mean, you can see it in the arguments here. You have to have arguments with people who believe that we should adopt anarchy. I mean, yeah, they're like, yeah, okay, that's a much better system. No rules? Oh, yeah, that'll work fine. So, I mean, these are the practical liabilities that have created the world that exists, is that the world that exists is not a world that has rational sensibilities. And that's just the truth. They don't have rational sensibilities. That's why they sit there and watch episode after episode of the, squeaky, high-voiced Chipmunk Fred show or something.
Entertain yourself. And if you already have other things going on, well, yeah, hang around. If you'd rather do this and you want to, have some downtime, I kind of feel like I feel like it's unfair. Sometimes I'm just here occasionally, every once in a while, I get up here, I see a video, and I shoot a rant. I don't know what to say about...
Yeah, well, I think you're lying to yourself a little bit. I mean, I think you know that you do learn something from this exchange. You learn through this medium how you're a communication guy. That's your field of study. This is communication. I mean, this is really out there. I mean, this is amazing communication when you think about it. Worldwide, different cultures, different perspectives, arguing on common grounds sometimes anyway. And, there's all kinds of personalities interacting that would never meet each other in the real world. They'd never sit at they'd never be at the same party. They'd never sit at the same table. So this is a place where, professors can talk to psychotic lunatics. I mean, there's all kinds of different people are in this conversation, and that's not going to happen in the real world in all of those cloistered environments.
The value of YouTube, though. I mean, does it have a value? Does this matter? Does it matter? Is it really...
Well, let's just take YouTube out of the equation. Obviously, YouTube's a pile of shit. I mean, it was invented by guys who just wanted to make money, so they just figured, let's just get as many views to this site as possible. We'll steal shit and make, get as many people's eyeballs here by having as much fart and pants fall down humor as possible and whatever clips we could steal from movies or something else. And that was their entire purpose, end of the game. They just contrived to broadcast yourself just as a lie. And now it's been bought by this disgusting company that sells more advertising than any company in the world. It's just a marketing company. And so, yeah, that's a real lie. That's huge. The two huge liabilities for the word YouTube. But it's about the Internet, ultimately. And the Internet, unfortunately, though, is still trapped in that Google. If you're not in Google, you're not on the Internet. And if Google isn't an honest search engine, we're fucked. And I don't think it's an honest search engine. And so I think we're fucked.
Adequate shaping stone. Can you put your YouTube knowledge to use in any place other than YouTube? Or are you stuck becoming a commodity for the machine to merchandise you? Thanks.
Yeah, well, I don't even, like I said, I don't think the machine has that much influence over the content. They're controlling what they're promoting, and they're controlling And that's really what's accessible. I mean, I've seen it. You know, they screw with the index. They demote videos based on content, and they promote it based on, you know, viewer popularity and all this. And popularity drives popularity, and so they just, you know, they allow bad content to be its own driver. But the other liability, again, is that the consumer market just isn't really fascinated by the idea of talking about reality. They have some simple delusion they picked up when they were 5 years old, and they're going to stick with it. And unfortunately, and they really don't want to be challenged. They really don't want to do this cultural edification thing. They just want to get their stuff. They want a phone with G4 in it or whatever the fuck. You know, that's all. So anyway, the people suck. It's not so much these mediums that suck. They do suck, but they don't suck as bad as the people suck. People fucking suck. Yeah. Our culture sucks, however you want to put that. Alright, gotta find the button. Till next time, more fun to come. Fun channel.